Welcome to Think About It, a program where we discuss important issues impacting our society. My name is Rick, and I'm happy to have you here today. The topic we will discuss today is age of consent. Age of consent. Now, we hear this thing a lot because lately in our society, there's been a lot of cases of pedophilia, older people abusing younger people, etc. The idea of having an age of consent seems it seems like a very important idea, to prevent older people from taking advantage of the young. So age of consent in the past used to mean the age that somebody could consent to be married. But now that's not what it means. Now it means that the age somebody can consent to sexual activity. And so many of us are fighting for the age of consent to be a certain way. But one thing with age of consent for sexual activity, it varies in different places. For example, like in Florida, age of consent is 18. In some state, I think Alabama, it is 16. And in other countries like around the world, like probably some places in Europe, it's probably 15. In other places, it could be like even lower than 15. And is the idea of having an age of consent for people to have sexual activity a good idea or a bad idea? I think the devil is using our understanding of age of consent as a way to destroy society even furthermore. What do I mean by that? The idea that there should be an age where one can consent to sexual activity without being married is satanic. It's satanic. And this is how Satan spread immorality in the land. Because God says that one should not have sexual activities unless they are married, right? So let's say you say the age of consent is 18 years old, right? Somebody over 18 cannot have sexual relationship with somebody who's under 18. But what happens if both people are under 18? Is that okay then? If both people are under 18, if they're like 14, if both people are 14, is that okay then? If both people are 8 years old, is that okay? And you see, this is the way the devil ensnares us into promoting evil while thinking that we are doing something good. Because a lot of times people have issue with sexual activity only if the person is older. But if they are the same age, if they are teenagers, people think it's okay. Just teenagers doing teenager things. They're just telling them, you know what? Use precautions, use a condom, and be cautious, be mindful, be safe. Safe sex. That's the idea. Safe sex, right? But friends, I'm here to tell you there is no such thing as safe sex outside of marriage. There is no such thing as age of consent for sin. Right? Because God is the creator, and God tells us the only time we should have sex is within a loving marriage. So what happened in our society is, as teenagers start having sexual relationship with other teenagers, they establish a pattern, right? They establish a pattern of immorality. And now as they get to like 19, what if they see somebody who's young, who's like 17 and they like? And as people become so sexual and they don't have control over their sex drive, eventually they come to the place where the last boundary that remains is the age of consent. Now they want to go and have sexual relationship with people that are forbidden. This is what happened when you promote wickedness, when you promote evil and make it seem like it's a good thing. The Bible does say that woe to those who make good evil and turn evil into good. Friends, as Christians, we have to use the word of God as our guide, because Satan is very wise and evil men are very wise. You see how like in our society there was a time if you mention homosexuals will seek to have marriage, people mock it. People thought that was a joke, right? Because they were promoting the idea that all we want to do is want to be able to have a civil partnership. All we want to do is love one another. We don't need marriage. We just want legal rights. And some Christians, they were like, you know what? Let's just allow them to get their civil unions or whatever, and we'll call it a day. Well, eventually they push for marriage. And eventually now we are dealing with transgenderism. And now we are dealing with little children, right? We are dealing with corrupt government officials, corrupt people trying to get little children, saying that it's okay for little children to go through transition. This is what happened when you give the devil an inch. He will go the whole way. And so even the idea of the age of consent, right? unless it was introduced for marriage, because you don't want to, our culture is different. For marriage, when we introduce the idea of age of consent as an age to have free sexual relationship, we open the gateway to all sorts of immorality. And now it's a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before other wicked people push to have the age of consent lowered down. Matter of fact, one of the flaws of democracy is that it's majority rule. And in majority rule, if the masses choose for something, guess what? It will become law. And all you have to do is have a dedicated minority to start pushing for a change in the age of consent for free sexual relationship, and the government will bow down to it. It was the same way with the gay marriage thing. A determined minority push for wickedness on the society, and wicked men in power, wicked men and women in power voted for homosexual marriage. A crazy statement. Homosexual marriage to become the law of the land. Now we are dealing with transgenderism. I guarantee you, soon we will be dealing with pedophiles saying that they were born this way and that they have a natural attraction to little children, and they will be asking for their rights. They will be asking for the age of consent to be lowered. This is where Satan is leading us. This is where he's leading our society. And this is why it is important as Christians not to give the devil an inch in our lives and to speak against wickedness, the evil that is sweeping our society. So friends, if the age of consent is about when someone can get married, then it's fine. It is good. It's beautiful. But if the age of consent is referring to when someone can have sex without being married, then it is an evil. It is wickedness, and we should speak against it. Don't let the society deceive you. Use the word of God as your guiding light, and you will never go astray. Once again, this is Think About It. See you next time.